What is the latest on Simon Ekpa?
Yeah, I think he's still been prosecution. He's still undergoing prosecution in Finland, and so we're hopeful. And you can see, because when we talked about him, people felt we were just making. But since he had been arrested, Southeast is getting better. And so the likes of him, we're going to go after them wherever they are, and whatever it takes, we'll bring them. And that's why the Asari guys too is a good win for all of us. Other ones who are following, the other ones that we don't talk about, we also look at them and be able to pull them out. And I think clearly we'll do that. And in order to achieve more, because no nation is an island, we are also organizing our African Chiefs of Defense Staff Conference starting on Monday, where all the Chiefs of Defense Staff in Africa, for the first time coming to Nigeria for us to discuss, because we see that these incidents are not respecting anyone. Mozambique, you can understand it. Mozambique is facing issues. Ghana is beginning to face issues. Burkina Faso, Mali, and all other areas. So it's important that we come together as brothers and sisters, discuss our problems, and provide solutions.
Streets of Okigwe, Imo State on August 3, 2025. 2 police officers assigned to protect Kingsley Ikoro, the majority leader of the Ebony State House of Assembly, were ambushed and killed by gunmen. Here's what happened. The lawmakers' convoy was rolling through Okigwe when suddenly, a vehicle broke down. While the main group moved ahead, the 2 officers stayed behind with the stranded car. That's when the attackers struck, taking the lives of the officers in a brutal assault. Their bodies were later recovered and taken to a local mortuary. This isn't just a random act of violence. Okigwe is already known as a volatile region with a history of security incidents. The Imo State Police described the attack as heinous and have launched a full-scale manhunt. Tactical teams are now combing every forest and community in the area, determined to catch those responsible. Sadly, this isn't an isolated case. Just recently, another Ebony lawmakers' convoy was ambushed by over 60 gunmen in Ebony State. While the lawmakers survived, 2 police officers went missing and 3 were injured. These attacks are becoming all too common, painting a worrying picture of insecurity across Nigeria. As the search for answers continues, our thoughts are with the families of the fallen officers, and with everyone who risks their lives to keep others safe.
Rise in Nigeria's southeast. The situation demands urgent attention. In recent weeks, reports of armed Fulani herders occupying farmlands have sparked alarm across Imo and Anambra. Viral videos show cattle grazing in city centers, while some farmers and local women have pleaded with armed groups just to access their land. This follows the killing of 3 farmers in neighboring Enugu State, and a worrying rise in kidnappings, including clergy from both Catholic and Anglican churches. Human rights groups warn that the response from state authorities has been slow and call for the immediate enforcement of anti-open grazing laws. They're urging governors to form a united security front, strengthen local vigilante groups, and share intelligence to protect rural communities. Activists say if action isn't taken, the region risks becoming the next tragic headline. Stay informed and...
Breaking news. Identities of Okigwe vigilante saboteurs that were sent to judgment finally revealed. Hear the news in details. Wonderful people of Biafra, lovers of freedom all over the world, you are welcome once again to Biafra Unite channel /television this very moment. Today's date is 24th of August 2025, and I have breaking information for every one of you listening to my voice right now from wherever you are all over the world. Dear friends and lovers of freedom, I want you to pay very good attention to this very news, because it's very, very important. I can assure you, my people. The identities of the saboteurs who were given 1 million naira each by Ebe Kwedike, who collected 5 billion naira from Hope Uzodinma to recruit some idiots, some criminals, and gave them compassions to fight the Biafra Liberation Army Okigwe branch in the name of vigilante group. Their identities have finally been revealed. Recall that yesterday there was a gospel in the homes of those, especially in the home of that idiot, the Eleke Fulefu, that called himself the commander of the new vigilante group in Okigwe. There was a gospel in his country home yesterday, and I want to assure us that after that very gospel, with all the mouth the idiot to make in our social media, reverse has become the case. So without further ado, because I don't want to waste my time for Umuokoko, let us delve straight into the news. And as you can see on your screen, I will be reading from one of the Zoo media platforms, the Vanguard. And according to their title, they said, gunmen stormed security chief's home in Imo, unalive many. Oweri, several persons are feared unalived, and the newly appointed leader of a local security outfit in Okigwe, Imo State, is missing following a deadly attack by unidentified gunmen. The security leader, whose name could not be confirmed as of press time, had recently gone viral on social media after posting a video in which he issued a stern warning to those behind persistent attacks in the area, ordering them to vacate Okigwe or face their consequences. You see, they said here that Vanguard has started again. Imagine what they said, that he issued a stern warning to those behind. To those behind. Did you get that? To those behind the persistent attacks in the area. I expected Vanguard, who are not there, to understand the level of security concerns, the level of security issues in that very area. Vanguard News is never there. They do not know what is happening there. So, therefore, I expected them to be very, very careful with the way they use their words. I expected them to say he issued a stern warning to those allegedly behind the persistent attacks. Because we know that in reality, those who are behind the persistent attacks in Okigwe are the Nigerian military. We have seen them on video countless of times, where they are bringing their armor tanks and bombarding people's homes, setting them ablaze. The videos are on the social media. It's not something that we have to do propaganda for. It's everywhere on social media. Again, we watched the video of that very Ntaka who came out and started ranting. And we know the people that he was, fighting. We know the people he was calling their names. He was mentioning the likes of Commander Gentle of the Biafra Liberation Army, including Angel Makeup, who happens to be the spokesperson of the Biafra Liberation Army. So these are the people he was fighting. And we also know the person behind the recruitment of these very criminals that they called Vigilante of Okigwe. The main person who is behind them is Ebekuedike Aririakaria, who collected 5 billion naira from Hope Uzodimma and recruited these people. The same Hope Uzodimma gave him pump action that he gave them. So Ebekuedike did not buy pump action from that 5 billion naira he collected from Hope Uzodimma. Are you paying attention? Now, as if that is not enough, he gave them 1 million each. The chairman, their commander, the Ntaka who came out on video and started ranting, was given 2 million. While others, who came out for that very so-called security arrangement, were given 1 million. So they did not come out for free. They know within themselves that the people they are fighting for Biafra. They know. All of them know that Gentle, the Yahoo, and other, of his men that are fighting for Biafra freedom are genuinely fighting for freedom of Biafra. They know. So the only thing that made them, gather liver, came out, carry pump action, gagwo umunkanka ogwu ha gwolo ka aji chere onwe ha ka egbe na-epu faru. The only thing pushed Rufa to commit such heinous crime against Biafra is because of 1 million Ebekuedike gave them. Ebekuedike collected based on authentic information within my reach. Ebekuedike collected 5 billion naira. 5 billion from Hope Uzodimma in order to commit that crime. Now, these people, these young boys, were given 1 million each by Ebekuedike. Now, can you imagine? There were about 15 of them 15 to 20 of them who have come out for this very, criminality called so-called, Okigwe Youth Vigilante Group. About 15 to 20 of them. Now, calculate 1 million times 20. That is 20 million. So Ebe Kwedike is still pocketing about 4.980 billion naira. That is 4,980 million. Imagine how much this man is pocketing as a person. That's why he Jabamba. That's why he has been talking like a madman. Because ego nyeli di too much on a chai okonaro. Ego abagi sika on a wiziara. You gotta go ebe millisibano pio bagro now. So when Vanguard is talking, I expected them to say allegedly, because they are not there, they are not sure. And we know the people that the criminals were fighting. And we also know that they are not the ones who are setting people's homes ablaze in Okigwe. But, of course, what do you expect from a Zoom media? Now, they continued. A source who requested anonymity said the government stormed the security leader's residence on Saturday, which was yesterday, opening fire indiscriminately. The exact number of casualties remain unclear, but many residents are feared unalived. It is yet to be confirmed whether the security leader was present during the attack or managed to escape. He has not been seen since the incident. According to the source, among the victims were the rebuild Imo coordinator in Okigwe, Mr. Emeka Ezagola. Now, let me take that again. I want you to understand the kind of people who were in the house. Probably they were in a meeting. In that man's house, so Kwanu Lodat Ntaka Emelo, the leader of that criminal gang of the so-called new Okigwe Vigilante. I want you now to pay attention to the type of people who were there presently when that very onslaught took place yesterday. So that I want you to pay attention to understand the level of sabotage that is going on in Okigwe and Imo State as a whole. See the people who were there. You know already their modus of operandi, you know their conditions, you know what they are there for, you know their offices. And above all, these are those that I called aspiring politicians. Those who are aspiring to be politicians. And you know, as Igbo people, before you set in politics of Nigeria, your number one assignment is to sabotage your brother. So long as you want to be a politician in Nigeria and you're an Igbo man, your number one assignment is to sabotage your brother. If you do not sabotage your brother, Fulani will never recognize you to be a politician. That is the problem that we're having in Nigeria as Igbo people, as Igbo, and it can never continue. Now, according to the source, among the victims were the rebuild Imo coordinator in Okigwe. Rebuild Imo coordinator in Okigwe. First and foremost, as an Igbo person, you shouldn't recognize anything called Imo State, with or without Biafra. Because Fulani, the same way we do not agree with the creation of Britain in Africa, is the same way we cannot agree with the creation of Fulani in Igbo land. Fulani cannot come from Sokoto and Fota-Jalon to create state for us in the east. You understand? They will sit in Abuja and say, from here to there, from today, your name is Imo. And then we agree. So we can agree on that name Imo because there's a river called Imo River. We can agree on the name that the name has been existing. But that thing called state, Imo State, we can't agree on it. So anybody talking about rebuilding Imo for Nigeria, you're a saboteur. Whether you like it or not, you're a saboteur. We should be talking about the states that Umuafu Igbo have created for themselves. You understand? Which is the 40 states of Biafra. Unless Manda Nafana Chunta, as in Afa Chozi, anyị gbakọnatakwa aka ọnụ laka ụmụaka Igbo wee mezigharịkwa ife anyị malụ ka anyị si wee biri. But for now it remains the 40 states of Biafra. Now aha ya bụ Mr. Emeka Ezeagwụla, Mr. Emeka Ezeagwụla and his wife Mrs. Blessing C. Ezeagwụla. So husband and wife just gbakọta aka ọnụ na-arụ sabo. Di na nwunye joining hands together bụrụ sabo rebuild Imo. What are you rebuilding? Na-arụ sabo because of ego. You want to be a politician. Now the third person, a local vigilante member, Mr. Chidi Chineke Neziana Fozalo, ka akpọkwa ya onye Igbo, while onye Fulani mụrụ na Gariki Okigwe ala Hausa, and one Mr. Ejike Otuonye were also reportedly unalived. Several homes were set ablaze during the assault. They came to the residence of the newly appointed security leader and opened fire. Nobody has seen him since then, the source said. Many people were unalived. You remember he came online a few days ago warning them to leave Okigwe or face the consequences. The situation has become something else. As of the time of filing this report, the police public relations officer in the state, DSP Henry Okoye, had not responded to inquiries regarding the incident. No, he has to respond. Obologo or Sino IPOB ESN, as if he has something else to say. He has to say what he knows how to say. IPOB ESN. Now, I have only one word before the conclusion of this very broadcast. The only one statement I have for our people is to leave sabotage. Rapo no sabo. Rapo sabo ka sabo rapo no. Rapo no sabo na aruzine sabo. Kose no ero sabo or sabo na etipi anyị. Ndị Fulani na protect their own. Yoruba na protect their own. Sunday Igbo nọkwa n'ụlọ. Ọ bụrụ na amara ọ natagokwa ọ nọ n'ụlọ kịta. He's going from one palace of their urban to another. Yesterday he was in the palace of this young king. I don't know where he comes from. He was in his palace yesterday begging him to forgive him. Of course. So Yoruba protect their own. Mana ndị Igbo na-esu ndị Igbo ibe fimi na-sabotage their own because of ifi ego. So ndị Igbo rapụ no sabo. What is happening in Okigwe today, the escalation of this in-house fight, this infighting, is the result of sabotage. You understand? Apụta asị gị ha na-egbusi onwe ha, gentle gburu onye nke a, gentle gbuo onye nke a. Gentle na-egbu onye aka ya dị ọcha, ọ ya kelufa. But ịbịazi so gentle imi ka ndị agha Nigeria, ndị Fulani terrorists nọ na kaki uniform gbuo ya, ị na-emezi expect na ọ ya na-akụrụ gị aka. Ọkụ ya, ịbịa so gentle imi, ịkpọta ndị agha Nigeria gatụọ ụlọ nna ya aka agba ya ọkụ, otu esi wee gbago ụlọ ọkụ, nwụrụ nwunye ya, nwụrụ ụmụ ya, gbuo nwanne ya. Gentle nwaanyị dị n'ọgụ nwa mere ya, n'ọgụ nwa sabotage ya, ọ pụtazi na-akụrụ gị aka. Ọ na-akụrụ gị aka. Ịkpọrọ ndị agha Nigeria gatụọ ụlọ Njemekọp aka, esuo ya ọkụ, ọ pụta ọ na-akụrụ gị aka ịgbaniga. Because we cannot do this in fight. I am a nuso nwaanyị ọgọ na-akụrụ gị aka. Well done. Oluzie echi ọnwụ ife melụ gasị, Gentle egbuola ọnya, Makeup egbuola ọnya. This is the same problem that we have in Osun. The same problem, no difference whatsoever we have in Osun. Ụmụ Igbo rapụ no sabotage. Once we leave sabotage, then if agala anyị ọfụma. Oni of Alafin. Sunday Igboho was in the palace of Oni of Alafin yesterday. Fana Arab mind how to work together, how to relate. Sunday Igboho nọ n'ụlọ now. But kebe Maazị Nnamdi Kanu nọ na DSS. Ndị Igbo chekie na-echekie, nwee na uche. Thank you my people. Tosalụ n'ozi a and make it go viral.